going to be a little bit about what we're going to be working on here. I finished the BMW, obviously you guys got the video for that, and after that I sort of poked around with some things that were still on the bench that were sort of hovering in the background, and then I think it's a combination of finishing up something and just the nature of clutter that was going on. I cleaned everything. So pretty much everything was on the bench at the time, was reboxed and put away, as obviously none of it was getting anywhere, and it was just taking up space. So I've got a few things that I'm actually have down and I'm working on, and or I'm just starting in a couple cases, and we're talk about that. And then a few things have slithered across the transom, so to speak, in the acquisition land. So we'll show you those kits. Nothing major, just a couple things from eBay. And yeah, I guess that's probably about it. So on the working side of things, the one thing that did survive the boxings was the B-Max Honda Civic Group A car. That is just barely started. Basically, I took the chassis and shot it in primer. It's just, to me, a fine primer. The actual chassis will maintain this primer color, as it is the color of the car, basically, or the chassis anyway. You see this area up here is, to me, a semi-gloss black. That's pretty much all that'll be colored on this end. I have this just the engine here just barely roughed in Tamiya flat aluminum right now. The oil pan itself here, this is going to be steel, and then I'm not exactly sure what I want to do with the exhaust intake there, because there is no it says to just leave it gray like the chassis, and I'm pretty sure that's not really the right color. And then back here I have the fuel tank, just the beginnings of it of roughing it in. I had thought I had masked it correctly back on the back end here, but it's supposed to go all the way down to the corners of the chassis back here. So I have to remask that off and then mask off the front of it and finish that up. And then it'll be on to like chassis components, the brakes or necks and stuff like that. It's curbside kit, so obviously there's no engine to work with. The one new kit that's down, and we talk about this if you're actually in the Stash Project Facebook page. Started this. It is the Tamiya Ferrari F40 kit. That's actually an original 1988 kit. It has been reissued, several times since then. I'm pretty sure it's still in the catalog. Pretty sure if I'd go look, I bet you I see it on the renewal packaging, which means it's been revamped as far as getting the decals redrawn and stuff like that in the last, say, 5 years or so. So I'm pretty sure it's still actually in the catalog. That one, I'm not exactly sure who I got that off of. I'm not sure if it came from one of our local vendors here or from a friend. I've had it for a little while, not since 1988, but for a little while. And that one's going to be dedicated to Patrick Matai's will to continue building. For those people who watch his channel, he's been fighting the good fight against a Fujimi Ferrari F40 Le Mans edition kit, which is just a dump of a kit to begin with. It's very much a compromise of their actual F40 kit, which wasn't the worst thing in the world. But then they turned it into the Le Mans race car version, which I'm not sure if the actual race car version, because they did like a couple of Japanese touring class cars that were actually liveried as far as decals go. He has just one of the base ones that represents one of the 50 or so. I think I built 57 of them for the homogenization to run them in the various racing groups. So it's a very, very compromised kit in the sense that it is, a race car built out of a street car with doing the minimum amount of work necessary to do that conversion, and without damaging the mold in such a way that you couldn't go back and reissue the street car again. So it's very inaccurate for the race car. It's just not a mess per se, but it has been amusing from the sidelines to watch that go on. Not in the sense that I'm mean spirited or anything else like that, but just because I like the guy. We chat quite a bit off of YouTube, and just the trials and tribulations of you know what should have been a relatively easy build because it's only 50, 60 pieces. Has just not worked out that way because of the way the kit is designed and things like that. And then the third kit that I have going right now is one of the Fujimi Mercedes-Benz SLS GT3 cars, the SLS AMG. I actually started that kit last fall, I want to say. The Stash Project had attempted quite poorly to get a couple of group builds started, and one of the first group builds was to do a race car theme, and so I started a Z4 kit and a SLS AMG kit. The GT3, the Z4 sort of took off and was rolling as far as getting more and more progressed, and then the decals took a complete dump on that, and that sort of ground to a halt. And so I have the Hobby Cat coming, apparently. If you don't know if you guys can hear it in the background, but there comes the tail, and the SLS. I got the chassis painted on, and I got the interior base painted on. I haven't gone through and done any like the detail painting for the interior, and I haven't done anything else for the chassis other than painting the chassis plate. So there's a lot of progress I can make in that without worrying about what the weather's like to try to paint, as we're still outdoor painting here. Hopefully we can get that rectified before the wintertime comes, but we'll see. But like I said, there's lots to work on in regards to the the kit without worrying about painting the body. I haven't decided what livery to do that in yet. I have quite the plethora of SLS kits in terms of liveries to choose from 4 different manufacturers, maybe 5. So certainly nothing that I, plenty of stuff to work from. It's very tempting to do a set I have from Studio 27 for the VLN car, which is one of the first races that the SLS ran, which is a endurance series specific to the Nuremberg Ring racetrack. It's not the 24 hours of Nuremberg Ring, but it's a race series, basically, that is dedicated just to running that racetrack. Or, like I said, I have so many others. I bet you I have 30, 35 liveries for that kit, so I have a plethora of things to choose from, and we'll get once I start working on getting the body together, because anybody who's never seen one of those kits, it's not a multi-piece body, but there are several pieces to the body in terms of being able to, again, not wreck the mold between the street car and the race car. The only real compromise in the kit itself is that the street car's window glass is still included, which means that you have a window glass unit that still has a overhead center console, 2 sun visors, and a defroster set on the rear window that would not be there on the race car. But, be that as it may, all the rest of the kit is a race car derived. So we're going to flip the camera over here real quick, and we'll put the cat down, and we'll show you the few things that have come in. Be right back. Okay, guys, so one of the things we got was another one of the Tamiya Alfa Romeo 155 Ti V6 DTM cars. I'm not going to show it to you because if you've watched the channel at all, you've seen me get 3 of those so far. So it's not like it's anything new. The kit I bought was from eBay. I paid like $15 for it because the decals were AWOL entirely. Turned out when I got the kit, they actually had the small little decal sheet that has like the carbon fiber for the seat and some associated sponsorships on it. But I don't know where this kit was at and how it was stored, but the car itself, the decals itself, look like they're suitable for sanding the side of a boat, basically. That's about it. This is the Aoshima Mazda Miata MX-5. We've talked about this kit in relation to the fact that Aoshima is reissuing the Mazda Roadster RS this month. That is the Mazda Roadster RS is the JDM specific right-hand drive kit. Aoshima did, this is the second generation Miata, of course, put out a Miata kit that has has left-hand drive and has Mazda Miata logos and stuff like that in it. This kit was issued one time, and I have to see if they've got a copyright date on here or not. It doesn't look like it does. Much. Well, while I sit here and chit-chat about it, let's see. There's the body. It is a curbside kit. It does come with a hard top and a soft top, up tops, much like the Tamiya kit, the Tamiya kit, I should say, because they're on the clear runner. And anybody who has, there's a couple of Tamiya kits that are like that, where the up tops are on the clear parts, and you have to try to mask the window off and paint the thing. I am not seeing a copyright date on the instructions either, so I'm not exactly sure when this kit was done exactly. Let's see if we got something on the. No, there's nothing even on the decals. You got to set like a set of road racing decals in here that has some stripes and some rundles. Those are probably shot as far as the decals go because they're kind of old. There's actually a set of, amusingly enough, there's a. I'd show it to you, but it's still in a bag here. But there's a set of like Japanese bare metal foil in here. I don't know exactly what you're supposed to be chroming on this kit. Maybe the mirror faces, but they gave you like a 3x5 sheet of it. And yeah, I mean it's like little, I don't know, 50, 60 piece curbside. Yeah, tires are all bagged and everything. Really can't show you much of anything because I really haven't opened this. But this is sitting around our local show vendor's pile of stuff that he dug out of the back. It's old kits that never sold back in the day. I want to say this is what, it still doesn't say on here what year. Let's say this is 1989, but 1989 was when the original Miata came out. I don't have it in front of me. What was it, 90 something that the second gen Miata came out? At any rate, this is obviously the original version of this kit, and it's never been reissued in the Miata boxing. So if you want a second gen Miata and you've always been wondering what the box looks like, this is what you're going for. The light sports weight Mazda Miata 5 and the light sports weight or lightweight sports or however they want to put it is the series name. They put out several of the convertibles in this series. The Cappuccino came out in this series. I think the Honda Beat came out in this series. It was all Japanese convertibles. So then I got two Japanese touring cars, some Tamiya kits, and these again are older Tamiya kits. Put my arm across the front here so I can stop knocking my glue around. Good focus. There we go. This is the Tom's. This is a Toyota Corona Exiv. You can build this in two different liveries. There's the Zent version here on the box, and there's one that's sponsored by Esso Oil. These kits are from 1995, which makes them as old as my high school diploma. And they're curbside. They're decent Tamiya kits in that sense. There's no engine in it or anything else like that, but it's a very comprehensive curbside. They did two of these kits in 1995. There's this one. This is actually, if the decals in this weren't a little iffy, the decals in this are very comprehensive in the sense that I think you paint the bottom of the bumper red, and then the decals will do literally every other piece on here. There's, they basically cut the decals into like the roof, and then these sort of side swoops and things for the hood and this front of the hood, and then there's a couple of pieces for the sides and stuff like that. Those decals may still be good or may not be. I can't tell if the plastic itself is stuck to the decal face, and it's just sort of pressured the decal, the plastic onto the decal, so it looks kind of funny, or if there's some more damage to it. I haven't really got a chance to look at it. Replacement decals for this are available through Shunko Models or SK Decals, but be aware that they are not comprehensive in that sense. You will just get wording and things like that, and you'll have to mask all of this off. SK Decals also offers another second smaller sheet of decals to convert this Esso sponsored car right here into the car that they ran at the Gia race of Macau in 1995. Like I said, there are two of them, so this one just showed up today. I haven't even got a chance to get out of the plastic wrap, so we're going to have nice plastic wrap glare there. This is the Nippon Dinso Corona Exiv. Basically, the differences between these two kits are the wheels and the mirrors. Otherwise, I believe the rest of the contents are the same. I haven't had a chance to open this yet to really get a chance to look at it. Again, I don't even know what the decals do on here, but I'm pretty sure they did include like decals that are sort of this whole piece where this is red and blue and red. The replacements are available from Shunko. Again, they literally just reissued the decals for these. I don't know why they came out all of a sudden, but they did. But I know from looking at the Shunko things, you have to paint the front bumper. You would have to basically paint all the red on here, and they include decals for like this blue here and this blue here, and then this little check here and this little swoosh here. Those parts are, you don't have to mask off little chunks of things like that. But the bigger sections of colors, like I said, like the front bumper, the back bumper, trunk area, and this side here, you do have to mask off. It's sort of a trade-off. Maybe the decals in here aren't bad. Who knows? Like I said, I haven't even had a chance to open it. But you get the sort of general drift there. This was a fairly successful car on the Japanese Touring Championship, which is, again, a four-door thing, much like the, as we remember, this is a Japanese touring car championship. So that was a four-door race series. Anyway, guys, that is what we have to chit-chat about. I'm going to try to keep a more updated version of what we're doing as far as building these kits that we're working on. To try to keep the video shorter. I don't mind doing sort of long-form kit reviews and stuff like that, but I don't want to have, an update once every 2 months that's an hour long covering 3 kits, just because it's boring for you guys, and it's, then I got to try to, either take pictures of stuff as I'm doing it, or, go back through it. That's more work than it is just to make, several 5-minute videos. So anyway, we'll hope to see you guys around. Work for me has actually mellowed out. This will be the second full week on the new schedule. I'm finally sort of catching up on the equilibrium of sleep and when I need to go to bed and things like that, because I have to go to work the same time every day. And for anybody who's been a friend of mine, or I think I've probably mentioned it on the actual channel before, I was going out of town the first half of the week, and sometimes the second half of the week too. Sometimes the only day I had to work a local would be Wednesday, and that involved a lot of overnight trips and things like that. And so I was doing a lot of working day shift, and then trying to spend I would work day shift Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, be home off on the weekends. But midday Sunday, I'd have to go lay down and try to get some sleep, because Sunday night I would have to leave at like 11 o'clock at night and drive overnight for my first half of the out-of-town trip, and then work sort of a hybrid first shift thing, and then go back to days. And so I was flipping days, nights, three times a week, depending on how you look at it. And that just, aside from just being tiring, it just, this working days things works out much better. So, very much motivational as far as just being around and having energy to do stuff for a change, and not dreading the weekend, knowing that halfway through it I'd have to sleep through 2/3 of it. So there's all that. Also, for anybody who's still watching here at the end, a little preview of coming attractions for Friday. There's a blog that Fujimi does, as much like Aoshima's blog and Ebro's blog, that are all on a web blog service called Amiblo. They showed some computer-aided drafting pictures. They're not an actual like printed prototype or anything else like that. It's just computer graphics, basically, of the Mercedes AMG GT3 car, which is what they need to make in order to continue the lineage of the Good Small Racing cars, as well as just the GT3 series in general. Of course, we know there's that new hobby kit Platts thing that they're working on the M6 BMW GT3, and so believe me, before I sat this down to record this, I did a happy dance all around the room because that is really a kit that I want to see done as far as the GT3 series of kits. I know a lot of people out there like to see a Huracan or I guess it's what, the 588 that they're running, the Ferrari's running, or well, there's a bunch of guys running a bunch of different things. Ferrari doesn't really have a GT3 team. They have a bunch of kit cars you can buy, but nobody's running the same thing. But the Huracan is the Lamborghini one. In addition to running the Super GT and the Good Small Racing car, anybody who watched the 24 Hours of Nürburgring last weekend, which didn't get much coverage, of course, there was an F1 race and the Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600 all ran. Mercedes got first through fourth place and sixth in the 24 Hours of Nürburgring, and they led the race. One of the teams led the race pretty much the whole thing. There's a pretty nice little bump and run at the very end of the race, too. It's probably the most entertaining race of the whole weekend. Nobody saw it. But there's already from a company in Germany that does sort of homemade decals or like printed on Alps printer kind of thing. They're not screen printed like Studio 27 or anything else like that. They've already got 6 sets of decals out for the brand new AMG GT3 because their primary market is slot cars, and there's people already working on the slot car body. So I'd love to see the kit come out. I'm sure Studio 27 will cover lots of liveries for it, as well as, of course, the M6. But I sent in a email to them because they had some decal issues with the Pacific Racing McLaren that just came out. And while I was writing the email to get the replacement decals for that, they said, because the graphics said something like, we're working on this, but we're not totally sure we're going to do it or not. I just sent them an email. Look, I buy 6 right now, and who cares? I probably buy another 6 just to have them. I really would not like to pay the upgraded price for like the Good Small Racing car, because that's usually about another $5 or $6 more than like a blank one would be. But if they packaged one up, I don't have any down there, but they packaged one up just as the blank GT3 car, just a silver car with no decals in it, basically, like they did for the SLS, I would be on that quite enthusiastically. So hopefully they will make that, because that would be fantastic, as I would love to keep my GT3 collection going into the future and not have it just sort of stop with last season. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. We'll see you guys on the other side.